Then now, I've saved a visit to the hairdresser, she said contentedly when at last she came up for air. She stepped out of the pool and put on her shoe. Then they went off to hunt for Mr. Nilsson. Evening, my little angels. After our short break, Pippi and her friends were still on their picnic adventure, but they just discovered that Mr. Nilsson has gone missing. So off they went together to search for him. Let's join them on their quest to find Mr. Nilsson. Pippi arranges a picnic part 2. Hear how it squeezes when I walk, laughed Pippi. It says gloves, gloves in my dress, and squeeze, squeeze in my shoes. Isn't that Charlie? I think you ought to try it too, she said to Annika, who was walking along beside her with her lovely flaxen hair, pink dress, and little white kid shoes. Some other times, said the sensible Annika. They walked on. Mr. Nilsson certainly can be exasperating, said Pippi. He is always doing things like this. Once in Arabia, he ran away from me and took a position as the maidservant to an elderly widow. That last was a lie, of course, she added after a pause. Thomas suggested they all three go in different directions and hunt. At first, Annika didn't want, but Thomas said, "You aren't afraid, cat, are you?" And of course, Annika couldn't tolerate such insult, so off they all went. Thomas went through a field. Mr. Nilsson he did not find, but he did find something else, a bull, or to be more exact, a bull found Thomas, and the bull did not like Thomas, for he was a very cross bull who was not at all fond of children. With his head down, he charged toward Thomas, bellowing fearfully. Thomas let out a terrified shriek that could be heard all through the woods. Pippi and Annika heard it and came running to see what was the matter. By that time, the bull has almost reached Thomas, who had fallen head over heels over a stump. "What a stupid bull," said Pippi to Annika, who was crying uncontrollably. "He ought to know he can't act like that. He'll get Thomas' white sailor suit all dirty. I'll have to go and talk some sense into the stupid animal." And off she started. She ran up and pulled the bull by the tail. "Forgive me for breaking up the party," she said. Since she had given his tail a good hard pull, the bull turned around and saw a new child to catch on his horns. "As I always saying," went on Pippi, "forgive me for breaking up, and also forgive me for breaking off." And with that, she broke off one of the bull's horns. "It isn't the style to have 2 horns this year," she said. "All the better bulls have just 1 horn, if any." And she broke off the other horn too. As bulls have no feeling in their horns, this one didn't know what she had done. He charged at Pippi, and if she had been any other child, there would have been nothing left but a grease spot. "Hey, hey, stop tickling me," shrieked Pippi. "You can't imagine how ticklish I am. Hey, stop, stop, or I'll die laughing." But the bull didn't stop, and at last Pippi jumped off on his back to get a little rest. To be sure, she didn't get much, because the bull didn't in the least approve of having Pippi on his back. He dodged about madly to get her off, but she clamped her knees and hung on. The bull dashed up and down the field. bellowing so hard that smoke came out of his nostrils. Pippi laughed and shrieked and waved at Thomas and Annika, who stood a little distance away, trembling like aspen leaves. The bull whirled round and round, trying to throw Pippi. "See me dancing with my little friend," cried Pippi and kept her seat. At last, the bull was so tired that he lay down on the ground and wished that he'd never seen such a thing as a child. He had never thought children amounted to much anyway. "Are you going to take a little nap now?" asked Pippi politely. "Then I won't disturb you." She got off his back and went over to Thomas and Annika. Thomas had cried a little. He had a cut on one arm, but Annika had bandaged it with her handkerchief so that it no longer hurt. "Oh, Pippi!" cried Annika excitedly. "Shh, shh," whispered Pippi. "Don't wake the bull. He's sleeping. If we wake him, he'll be fussy." But the next minute, without paying any attention to the bull and his nap, she was shrieking at the top of her voice, "Mr. Nielsen! Mr. Nielsen, where are you? We've got to go home." And believe or not, there sat Mr. Nielsen up in the pine tree, sucking his tail and looking very lonely. It wasn't much fun for a little monkey to be left all alone in the woods. He skipped down from the pine and up on Pippi's shoulder, waving his little straw hat as he always did when he was very happy. "Well, well, so you aren't going to be a maidservant this time," said Pippi, stroking his back. "Oh, that was a lie, that's true," she continued. "But still, if it's true, how can it be a lie?" she argued. "You wait and see. It's going to turn out that he was the maidservant in Arabia after all. And if that's the case, I know who's going to make the meatballs at our house hereafter." And then they strolled home, Pippi's dress still going claps, claps, and her shoes squeeze, squeeze. Thomas and Annika thought they had had a wonderful day in spite of the bull, and they sang a song they had learned at school. It was really a summer song, but they thought it fitted very well, even if it was now nearly autumn.
In the jolly summertime, through field and wood we make our way. Nobody's sad, everyone's gay. We sing as we go, hello, hello. You who are young, come join in our song. Don't sit home moping all the day long. Our song will swell through wood and dell, and up to the mountaintop as well. In the jolly summertime, we sing as we go, hello, hello. Pippi sang too, but with slightly different words. In the jolly summertime, through field and wood I make my way. I do exactly as I wish, and when I walk it goes squish, 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 squish. And my old shoe, it's really true, sometimes says chip and sometimes chew. For the shoe is wet, the bull sleeps yet, and I eat all the rice pudding I can get. In the jolly summertime, I squish wherever I go. Squish-o, squish-o.
And so Pippi, Thomas, and Annika's trip to the good ended on a cheerful note with a lovely song. I wish my little angels a good night's sleep. We'll meet Pippi and her friends again in our next story time.
Everyone's gay.